Hello, hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking all about fonts. Specifically, I wanted to show you all how to download fonts that are not Cricut fonts. So to download fonts from other websites. So I'll show you the two websites that I like to use, and I'm sure there's a bazillion other websites you can use, but these are the two that I use the most. So don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit the notification bell so you always get notified when I post a new video. All right, so the two websites I'm going to be using today are one, Font Bundles, and two, DaFont. So first I will go to Font Bundles, and this is pretty much my go-to website for fonts if I'm looking for a font other than something in Cricut Design Space. So it is fontbundles.net. Okay, so here is the Font Bundles website, and so you can see up here it's fontbundles.net. And so I did have to make an account in order to download even free fonts. So you're going to want to make an account first, and then once you have your account, you can browse the website. They have bundles, which are really fun, and so you could see the prices for the bundles down here. And they also have like what's new. So again, if you want to spend money on fonts, if there's a font that you really like, they have some great fonts that you can pay for. Deals. So you can see they have a big font bundle for $10. And so what I typically use font bundles for, I don't really purchase fonts I feel like I can get away with, using their free fonts. So they have a gazillion free fonts, you guys, like tons of free fonts. So you can just scroll through all of their free fonts that they have. So the nice thing about Font Bundles is that a lot of their fonts come with a premium license, which means you can use it commercially, and it explicitly states that on their website. So you can see here for this tidal wave font, this font comes with our premium license, which allows for commercial and personal use. And so you can read through the entire license here. So it kind of breaks it all down for you. So most of their fonts come with this premium license. And then if you're looking for a little bit more from their fonts, you can look into their corporate license. But it basically it breaks it all down here for you. So obviously I won't go through this whole thing in depth, but if you're interested in kind of figuring out what you can use like commercially versus personally, I highly recommend you read through this, and I'll link it down below for you as well. But let's get back to the fun stuff. So to actually download one of their fonts, it is so easy. So we'll start with this tidal wave font. So right now I'm logged into my Design Space. So if you're logged into Design Space, I'm going to recommend that you actually exit out of it, because you're going to have to exit out of it anyways to see your new downloaded font in Design Space. So I'll show you what I mean. So let's go to a new project, and I'm going to click text. So like we are going to make a text box. And so right now, if I were to look for this tidal wave font, it's obviously not there. So let's go download it. So download free now. So you see that it just came right down here. So I'm using a Mac computer, and I'm in Google Chrome. So if you're on a PC or a different internet browser, I'm imagining it looks somewhat similar. So I'm just going to double click on this. And so now you can see it's right here in my downloads with all my other stuff that I've downloaded. So I'm going to double click on it. So now what I'm going to do is so it gives you different options here. It gives you the TTF font, which is True Type Font, and then the OTF font, which is Open Type font. So I went and Googled to see what the difference between these was for you guys. And so it looks like it doesn't 100% matter. If you're just like going to be using this for average use, you can see down here, OTF is indeed the quote better of the two due to additional features and options, but for average computer user, those differences don't really matter. And so you can read some other differences up here. So just because this kind of makes me lean towards the OTF font, I'm going to double click on it. And so you can see this little box just popped up. And so it tells you here it's not installed. So I'm going to click Install Font. And so now you can see here's all my other fonts. And my tidal wave font is now there. And it kind of shows you every feature that the font has. Okay, so now that it's downloaded, I'm going to show you why it just makes more sense for you to be out of Cricut Design Space before you download your fonts. So here is the Design Space window I opened just a few minutes ago. I have not logged out of it. So if I were to go to make a text box and type in my tidal wave font, it's still not there. So I'm going to exit out of Design Space, I'm going to quit, and I'm going to go right back in. And I'm going to go to New Project, click Text Box. I'm going to go up to my font and search. And there is our tidal wave font. So now we can write with it. How cool is that? And actually this font is super cute. I love this font. So stinking cute. All right, and so my tip for downloading fonts either on Font Bundles or DaFont is basically I would just download all of the fonts that you want before actually going into Design Space. So we can go back to our Font Bundles and let's pick another one here. Let's pick a chunky font. Ooh, okay, so I found this Candy Lane font. This is super cute, so I'm going to click on that. And again, it tells you it comes with our premium license. It's a fun, playful, childlike font. It includes these two different file formats, and we're good to go. So I'm going to click download. So it's right down here again. I'm going to double click. And you can see it's already highlighted for us. So I'm going to double click on the OTF, click install, and we have our Candy Lane font. And so now when we go to our Design Space, so I closed out of it earlier. I just reopened it again for the third time. Make a text box and I'll type in Candy. Candy. And there's our Candy Lane font. All right, so that is how you download from Font Bundles. That is, again, like I said, that is my hands down favorite font website to use. But there's also one called DaFont. And DaFont is also great, but I will tell you with DaFont, none of their fonts actually come with licenses off the bat for free. You have to purchase them. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you are looking to sell things or use these fonts commercially, I would definitely recommend purchasing the font just so that the creator of the font gets the revenue from that. I'm definitely not encouraging anyone to use these fonts commercially if they don't actually purchase them. So you can see right over here in the corner, it says for free for personal use, free for personal use, so on and so forth. So if we click on this font, it even tells you this demo font is for personal use only. But if you'd like to actually purchase the font, you can click here and purchase the font for $1.80. So, I mean, definitely why wouldn't you do that? I mean, if you're wanting to use it commercially, like that's $2. Or it looks like here you can buy unlimited fonts for 19 bucks a month on Creative Fabrica. So if you're looking just to find some really fun fonts for your personal use, definitely recommend DaFont. So up here you can see you can search so many different categories. So groovy, I don't even know what that is, but it's like all these kind of fun, like retro, fun retro fonts, Western. They have tons of fun stuff here. Or if you have an idea of something that you want to see if you can find, so like Grinch, for example, they have some fun fonts. So if you have an idea of something you're like a font you're trying to match in your head, you can sometimes find them here. So I just typed in Flintstones. They don't have anything. But yeah, so I think Font Bundles is a great tool to use for your personal use. All right, so let's download this Good Mood font. This looks fun. So I'm going to click download. And again, it's right down here. So I'm going to double click on it. And I'm going to double click on the OTF file and click install. And so it's right up here for us. So now when I go to my Cricut Design Space, I just opened it again for the 4th time. I'm going to go to new project, click text, and I'm going to search for my Good Mood font, and it's right there. So some of the things with these fonts that you download, so see, I put a space here, but it didn't recognize a space between the words when I actually type it. So with these fonts, you might kind of have to play around with them and see how they actually type. But for something like this, you could easily just click it, click ungroup, select the other word, and just scoot it over to make the actual space. So just fair warning with some of these downloaded fonts, they can sometimes be a little tricky, but once you play around with it, they are super fun, and honestly, your options are limitless. All right, so that is all for my super basic tutorial on how to download fonts to Cricut Design Space. I hope you guys found this helpful. Don't forget my 2 favorites. Well, my number 1 favorite is Font Bundles. Definitely my number 1 favorite, Font Bundles. But if I can't find something there, DaFont is really good too. And I know Joe uses it a lot for his graphic design, so I know DaFont is very good as well, but this is just kind of my go-to favorite. So I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, make sure you leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, happy crafting!